If I had an idea for you guys, because I know that I had suggested like a slide filter before, and you're like, well, that might be overstepping. Like it was one thing to get the delay my orders in there. That's awesome, which was great. But um, like there's some my area is so big that some of the orders I see could be literally 40, 50 minutes away, still in Denver, but that's how far away it is from me. I wish that I could have two or even at best three where I could set three zones. Like my close zone here, show me everything. I don't care. This is where I live. Great. Show me this. And then a bigger loop saying, don't show me anything above 30 in this zone. And then over like for me, Littleton would take me 50 minutes at any time of day to get down there from where I am. Don't show me anything under $50 for that. It seems like you guys would save a lot of data money because I see them all the time. Why you send them to me?
Yeah, no, I think that makes sense. Like right now in ours, you have the one zone, and then you can set the threshold for outside of it. But it's still, I get your point. It's still there's almost the middle zone is what's missing.
Yeah, I mean, well, also just like I feel like it would help you. You're going through AI learning models right now, like you were even just talking about. It might even help places like I don't know if it would help Easy Cater, but it would absolutely help your logistics to know, dude, don't send Steve a $20 offer in Littleton. He's not gonna do it.
Yep. No, it's going to save time for everybody. And honestly, just even the data of you putting it in there informs us areas where we don't have drivers, so we could be more strategic in our recruitment.
Right. And I mean, also, like, am I willing to do one down there? Yeah, but I need to make it worth the time. So,
Totally.
it's, there was a question here about, so this is Kim again. She's asking if, there's many different theories on this. Could you explain, Frederick, how it actually assigns orders? Or does this get all crazy complicated, or is there something you could
a little bit of both. I mean, to go through every scenario and like every order, like gets kind of complicated. And in fact, sometimes it's almost too much. Like even like an example of that would be a restaurant who is prioritizing a driver with a low score. And then it's like, I mean, sometimes it's like it almost gets to be too much. But I mean, in the most basic form, every order has tags and every driver has tags. And I'm going to start with that in that you have to be eligible for an order to be considered by Frederick for the order. So what vehicle do you drive? How many hot bags do you have? Do you have a cart? Like that type of thing. So that's the first sort of just like who's eligible for this order. And where sometimes that could even be funny is like, this is probably more in a small market, but maybe I've got 5 4-star emeralds, but none of them actually have what's needed for the biggest order possible. So now a 3-star actually might get that order more likely. You could be a 4-star emerald and be driving the tiniest car ever and only be eligible, don't have any hot bags. You're not eligible for a lot of orders, but when those orders come through, they're going to go to you quicker. But the first thing is who's eligible for the orders. Then it's going to be what's your emerald status. And so that tells you like what time that the orders are being sent. And then from there, it is a little bit random, kind of as Kim said, because there is like a randomizer. So if you are eligible for an order and you're in the same status, everybody who is essentially in the same 5-point range is where it's going to start, is going to get randomly assigned it. So some days being 100 is great, but the next day the 96 might have won that first one, and the next day the 97. And then basically that same status just goes down, that same concept like goes down the rail, where the number one reason I'd say people sometimes see really funky things is everything that I just listed is also with the idea that the order was placed maybe 24 hours early. It's been placed on time. It's eligible when we first sending our assignments. Where we see things get really wacky is when orders are coming through at 5, 6 o'clock or in the middle of the night, because like then the emerald rules still apply in that it's going to be when it comes in, looking at who's eligible and sending it to the best pool randomized there. But the best pool might not be that great at that point. So if when I see somebody says, hey, this driver's only an 80 and he got a better order than me, the first thing I ask is when that order came in. And again, we could have an hour debate about, are we sending orders too early, too late? I mean, there's like so many different like concepts in that. but
Yeah.
there's not really that much secret science. Like there's definitely other nuances and other tags and one-offs, but mostly it's, are you eligible and what's your emerald status and your actual your tier to make you eligible for it.
And so, real quick here on Bobby's comment too, is that, like he said he was seeing 5 a week and now like 10 a day. Like I would absolutely guess this doesn't have to do with just driver amounts. This is, you grew that, he's in Louisiana. You grew that market somehow big.
Could be. I mean, I'd have to look, but we could see a spike in orders. We could have had a new client. We could have lost like a good driver there, or he could have jumped to a next tier, maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
I love hearing it,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
But there's like a lot of different things it could be.
Yeah, I had a bunch of topics that Chris and I were gonna go through, but it looks like this is gonna be what we go through today.
Doesn't it always seem to happen like that?
I know, but I didn't know there'd be this much because we're still. I'm trying to make sure I don't miss any questions that aren't being repeated. But
helpful for me. Again, like I know it sounds like I'm full of shit, but we've created features before off of conversations or feedback that come from drivers. And even sometimes there's bugs out there that I don't even know about. So like I really get a lot out of this too. But I really appreciate you having me on. This is always like a really fun one for me.
Yeah, I would love having you. But so the last thing I would just leave you with is, because I know, so like for instance, dumpling, which a lot of the people in here know. I don't know if you know it well, but dumpling is, you get your own clients, you do grocery delivery. They also have a new website called preppedvacations.com. And what it is hooking up with Airbnb owners to have food stocked when guests get to the house. So you get tied in with Airbnb owners and they say, yeah, sure. Anytime a guest comes, they'll get them a grocery. Would you like your groceries stocked when you get here? Because it's all in-store pricing through Dumpling and all these and Prepped Vacations. I now have been seeing, and I sent you that article about the catering space in this too. Is that something you guys have even looked into?
Not exactly, because our core offering of Expedite, we're kind of dependent on others to like make that connection and then send us the order. But as we expand into these other entities, it is definitely something we could take on. I thought that was really interesting, everything you sent me about Dumpling's model in general. Really, I mean, talk about it. So I mean,
really good guy
with
that runs the company. They've been around for a while. I dig it. Yeah.
I mean, really, you talk about kind of the liberation, of the workforce. Like that's really cool. And then, I mean, with regard to the Airbnb side, I mean, I would use it. So I think that's definitely like a really good idea. So again, Expedite, I mean, we're a little dependent on others to almost make that connection and then send us the orders. And so that's why we are trying, again, under DLIVRD Tech, to find new entities, build new products, because like we would love to be able to host a restaurant's menu, in some of our technology and get these orders placed right through us. So today, like, no, we don't have anything like that, but I'm hopeful in a future conversation we have like this, that's the type of move that we can move into.
Like, so, I mean, I can give you an example. So I know somebody who's doing the Prepped Vacations. I'm only on Dumpling. I've been on it for years, but I've moved over to Prepped Vacations. Yeah, you kind of have to be a destination location, but it's still a lot of places. But let's say that there's an event going on and a bunch of people have hotels and whatnot, and they're flying to Orlando, and somebody has an Airbnb and they want to host an event. Through there, they're using direct cater. I mean, like, it seems like something they could go directly through you for.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, in yes and no. Like, I mean, we have our own direct restaurants. We just don't have like a site to take it. And so that's where we really want to go into, because like typically, again, I'll use the word Easy Cater. They're going to place the order with them and they're sending the order to us. That's kind of like our historical business model. And I'm not going to compete with Easy Cater, but certainly as we sign more direct clients, we want to be able to provide everything for those. When I say direct clients, I mean more a direct restaurant. We want to be their go-to for anything related to catering. So you have your menu. We want to be able to do the invoicing. We want to be able to send the driver. So we still got a couple like missing pieces that kind of connect the dots. But what you're speaking to is absolutely the type of space we would like to go into.
Yeah, it's something. I don't know. I would think that it's something that I feel like you guys already are kind of starting to go that way. Like, not that you'd ever X out all the people you work with, but that you have your own things too that might be coming out.
Yeah, no, and again, at the end of the day, too, there's probably some restaurant or some grocery store that's also benefiting from this, right? And so, I mean, we want to be able to find, I'm going to call it a restaurant, but restaurants like that, and service any potential catering need that they could possibly have. And again, even some things in the future, I mentioned Giggy, but maybe they need people to actually stay and set up the food. We would love to be able to expand to that and offer that as like a premium service. There's a lot more that we could be doing for our restaurants. And even again, like we purchased a reputation management tool. So drop off the order and we send a text to the customer, hey, how was it? And get feedback and push them to Google reviews. We're going to have some new like social media optimizations. And I think we're still a good way away from being able to do this. But I want to be able to go to a restaurant and offer them so many products that they would never leave us. And they want to send us all their orders, and hopefully our products help them even grow more orders. And that's the vision of DLIVRD TECH.
And on a note, I really do want to say is that like I never got on to DLIVRD that. Tony here and a friend of mine here in Denver was like, yeah, it's I just never did it. I never did the onboarding to that one. I'm on Zifty. I feel like you guys are standing out and above, and like you've talked about your team being in South America, but I think your team in South America does a great job, whereas a lot of these out of country teams don't. And you even praised your team. Like I don't think I've ever got off the phone, honestly, from a DLIVRD customer service call and been upset.
Yeah. Well, that's definitely good to hear.
Yeah, because I mean, like they're actually doing something. Maybe they don't fully solve it. Maybe they can't, but they do try. They do seem to understand English. That's a big deal, and a lot of these places don't. They just want you to run through the things. But I feel like you guys are doing so much right. I hope to see you in more spaces. I kind of keep waiting for you to show up in the B2B world, like the Currys I feel like you're going to be there one day, but
yeah, and I think we'll leave it at that. But
yeah,
I do want to like kind of finish on that Colombia team, because we are really proud of them. And listen, I get it that like you're calling anybody and you're speaking to somebody in another country, and that can always be like a little off-putting. But my gosh, like in Colombia, I guess like not only is higher education paid for, but so is college. So a lot of these are individuals who are working in our call center. I mean, people have masters of biology, and I mean, like really highly educated individuals who, to your point, speak English really well. I'm like blown away when I go there. They're just so kind and go out of their way to speak English. But we also provide English lessons for them. So while they're there, they're also hopefully improving and getting better. Because even though they are so kind in a lot of ways and speak good English, a lot of them, which I just didn't, a lot of them are self-conscious. A lot of them don't like their accents. And so we really work with them in terms of like working with Americans. But again, I think a big difference, that company in Colombia, that's not just some vendor we hired, that's another entity under DLIVRD TECH. And so the idea is investing in them, because not only can they be a call center for DLIVRD and Expedite, but they actually, GigSafe's one of their clients now. So I mean, like, it's all very incestuous, of course, but they are another entity under DLIVRD TECH.
Yeah. Chris, thank you for your time as always. I mean, we could sit here, as we always say, and just go through DLIVRD after DLIVRD after, really based on one question, and then we just expanded into more. But really what I wanted to clarify was all of the Expedite, DLIVRD, GigSafe, Giggy, and I think we did. Okay. I guess my summary to that would be expect more and bigger things out of DLIVRD in the future.
I agree. So yeah,
and Expedite will be Expedite, and it'll still be great, but expect bigger, different things to come out.
Exactly. Expedite, I mean, believe me, I still like, we want to improve everything. But under DLIVRD TECH, we want to go into new and exciting spaces.